Has AGI arrived already in 2026? Well, that is the big question on everyone's minds. You know, AGI has been this sci-fi-like technological phenomenon that for many years now, the big companies such as OpenAI, Google, Anthropic have all been racing to. So has it come in the last few months now in 2026? Well, stick around because in this video, we are going to unpack exactly what AGI is and what the big names in the industry are saying about AGI and whether it is actually here before our eyes or not. So let's get into it. For those who don't know me, my name is Will Pham, and recently I just started up my own AI systems development business, Carno AI, where I help other businesses to streamline and optimize their processes using AI-powered systems and workflows. So if you're a business owner and you're looking to get into the AI space and integrate AI into your business, then either DM me on my Insta, which will be linked in the description, or drop a comment down below to get in touch. So with that being said, let's get straight into the video. So a lot of you might be wondering what AGI is and what does it actually mean? Well, AGI, also known as Artificial General Intelligence, is a hypothetical advanced type of AI that possesses human-level cognitive abilities, allowing it to understand, learn, and apply knowledge across any intellectual task similar to a human. So that is kind of like a very encompassing, broad definition of what AGI is. However, in reality, it is quite an ambiguous term because everyone has their own definition of AGI. And as you'll later see in this video, that's where it becomes difficult to really determine whether AGI has arrived or not, just because it's really down to semantics and how people define AGI, which will determine whether we think it is here or whether it's not. So to provide more context to this, we'll break down the differences between current narrow AI and what AGI can do, and what better way to do this than to ask ChatGPT itself. Okay, so now we've asked Chat what is the differences between AGI and current AI models such as ChatGPT and Claude. And here it responded with, starting with narrow AI, the key traits that it has, which includes it is task specific, so it's only good in one domain. And what that means is that it can do maths, it can debug code, it can write essays. However, if you go and ask it to start a business or cook a meal, obviously it's not able to do that. It can only respond to tasks in chat on this interface that it has. It's not able to actually go out into the real world and do them. Secondly, it's pattern based. So it only responds based on that statistical information that it gets from its training data, compared to, gaining meaning from real world experience. Thirdly, there's no real autonomy and it's not able to set its own goals. The user will have to continue to prompt it through each task. And if you want it to do a different task, you're gonna have to send it a whole new prompt. And lastly, we have limited transferable skills. And what this means is, in the real world, a human would be able to learn a game of chess and then use its skills that we learned from the game, such as strategy, and apply that into a different area, such as another game of football perhaps, or another board game. However, when it comes to ChatGPT and the narrow AI that we currently have, if it learns chess, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's better at strategy or better at critical thinking, and it won't be able to apply those skills to a different area. Okay, and so if we go down into the other hand, which is AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, in its name, of course, it is general intelligence. So it doesn't just have to handle one task specifically, it can do a whole range of tasks, at its will. Secondly, it also has transferable learning. So like I just said with ChatGPT, it doesn't have transferable skills where it can apply it to different areas. AGI would be able to apply those skills that it learns from one thing into another. It is goal-directed where it can plan and reason on its own without the user having to keep on prompting it. It can make up its own ideas and go and execute them. And lastly, it does have a true understanding in theory about the world and isn't just responding based on its training data or any data that it relies on. It actually can formulate its ideas and experience from real world understanding through the data that it acquires whilst executing its tasks. So yeah, there's a bit of a side-by-side comparison between what AGI is capable of doing compared to the narrow, more limited models of AI that we currently have. Okay, so now that we have a bit more of an understanding of what AGI is and what it can do, let's look at now the big names in the industry and what they have to say about AI. especially within the last few months. Okay, so firstly, we're going to look at this clip of Jensen Huang, who was recently on a podcast with Lex Fridman, and he had some pretty interesting things to say. So let's watch this clip and break it down.
You said, I think accurately, that the AGI timeline question rests on your definition of AGI.
Yeah, so what he's saying there, it rests on your definition of AI, and that's kind of what I was mentioning at the start. There's so many different definitions of AI out there, and everyone has a different one. So that's why it's kind of hard to really determine whether AGI has arrived or whether it has not, or when it will arrive. It just really depends on what your definition is. But anyways, let's continue.
So let me ask you about possible timelines here. This ridiculous definition perhaps of what AGI is, but an AI system that's able to essentially do your job. So start, grow, and run a successful technology company.
Now, what Lex is saying here, I feel like is quite a bit of a niche definition of AGI that he's posing to Jensen. I wouldn't say it's a very popular definition of AGI, but nonetheless, just keep that in mind when we break down what Jensen Huang has to reply to this.
Worth a good one or a one?
No, it has to be worth more than $1 billion, more than $1 billion. So, you know how hard it is to do all of those components. So how far are we away from that? So we're talking about OpenClaw that does all the incredibly complex stuff that are required to first of all innovate, to find customers, to sell to them, to manage to build a team of some agents, some humans, all that kind of stuff. Is this 5, 10, 15, 20 years away?
I think it's now. I think we've achieved AGI.
Okay, so obviously right there is quite a big statement. Jensen is saying that yes, we have achieved AI already, and it already is here right before us. But the thing is, I know in the media it's kind of been taken out of context a bit. In my interpretation of what he's saying here, it's just a response to how Lex Fridman posed the question to him. He said, is it able to do your job and start and grow a company to $1 billion? And yeah, like you said, with OpenClaw and Claude Code, with these technologies that we now have, that is absolutely possible. And yeah, if that's the definition of AGI, then yes, I agree that we'd have achieved it already. But again, it is a very niche definition. So that might be just what he's going off. However, let's see what he has to say.
You think you can have a company run by an AI system like this?
Possible. And the reason for that is this: you said $1 billion, and you didn't say forever. And so, for example, it is not out of the question that a Claw was able to create a web service, some interesting little app that all of a sudden, a few billion people used for 50 cents. And then it went out of business again shortly after. Now, we saw a whole bunch of those type of companies during the internet era. And most of those websites were not anything more sophisticated than what OpenClaw could generate today.
And yeah, so there is definitely truth to what Jensen is saying here. People are using OpenClaw and Claude Code, and they are able to create apps that are worth billions of dollars, because it's what people need, it's what people want. But it's not the average result. Not everyone is able to just come up with these apps and create this money-making machine. But no, there is definitely truth. There are a lot of people out there doing it, and it has been headlining the media a lot recently.
Virality and monetize that virality.
Yeah, it's just that I don't know what it is, but I couldn't have predicted any of those companies at the time either.
You're going to get a lot of people excited with that statement.
Yeah, I know.
They're like, what do you mean? I could just launch an agent and make a lot of money?
Well, by the way, it's happening right now. right? You know that when you go to China, you're going to see a whole bunch of people getting their claws to try to go out and look for jobs and, you know, do work, make money. And I'm not actually, I wouldn't be surprised if some social thing happened or somebody created a digital influencer super cute, or some social application that, you know, feeds your little Tamagotchi or something like that, and it become an out of the blue an instant success. A lot of people use it for a couple of months and it kind of dies away. Now, the odds of you know, 100,000 of those agents building NVIDIA is 0%.
Okay, so there you have it. Can they build NVIDIA 1,000 or 100,000 of these OpenClaw bots? No, they can't. But they definitely can create very successful apps and launch them and run them, even if it's only for a few months and then it dies out. It can definitely create a lot of money. But is that the true definition of AGI? I don't know, it's up for interpretation. Anyways, next person we're going to look at now is Sam Altman and what he's doing within his company, OpenAI. Okay, so yeah, there's been a lot of activity within OpenAI right now in what Sam Altman is actually doing. For example, one of the biggest things that have come out over the past month is that Sam Altman has renamed their product team to AGI deployment. Now, AGI deployment, that is a specific term, deployment. It's not development, it's not research, it's actually deployment, which implies that they've already built this technology, they've already, you know, completed its training and all that, and now it's ready to be put into the hands of consumers. And keep in mind, this team is the team that, you know, delivers ChatGPT. It builds consumer-facing tools. And so this term, you know, is implying that AGI, according to OpenAI, they have built something and they're ready to get it into the hands of consumers. And second to that, Altman has publicly confirmed that OpenAI has completed training on their model internally codenamed as Spud, which has been in the media lately as their, you know, their next most capable model of AI yet. So, and these two data points kind of falling so close together, you know, I mean, obviously OpenAI hasn't directly and explicitly said, yes, we have created AGI, but with all these things coming out at the moment, it does imply that maybe they have perhaps created this type of technology, you know, that can be classified as AGI. And when we classify AGI, again, with all these definitions, OpenAI has actually in their charter defined and published their own definition of AGI, which is outlined right here on their website. OpenAI's mission to ensure that artificial general intelligence, by which we mean highly autonomous systems that outperform humans at most economically valuable work. So that is their definition of AGI. And thus you can relate that back to what they're saying here, that they've perhaps created a system that encompasses those things. Further on from that, you know, Sam Altman says he's stepping back from the oversight of the safety and security team to focus more on fundraising, capital, and, you know, building data centers at unprecedented scale. So all of these things coming together, you know, he's cutting out the distractions, he's finished training the model, he's renamed the deployment team. You know, it's all pointing towards, you know, the possible fact that they have created something big here. That could be, who knows, but it could be AGI. Further on from that, we have this man called Mark Gubrud, who, if you don't know him, he's the man who initially coined the term AGI back in 1997 in a paper that he wrote about nanotechnology and international security, where he needed a term to distinguish between the limited AI of that time and more advanced forms that are capable of matching the human brain in complexity, speed, and reasoning. And in a recent Twitter post that came out roughly 5 weeks ago, he was saying, well, I invented the term and I say we have achieved AGI. Current models perform at roughly high human level in command of language and general knowledge, but work thousands of times faster than us. Still some major deficiencies remain, but they're falling fast, right? So he's the man who coined the term initially back in 1997. He's saying we have achieved AGI. And additionally, the two guys who popularized the term back in 2002, Ben Gortzel and Shane Legg, while working together, have also come out with new claims saying that AGI is here, or rather we are on the track to AGI, in a LinkedIn post. Keep in mind now that Shane Legg is the co-founder and chief AGI scientist at Google DeepMind, but here in his LinkedIn post, he was saying, for a long time now, the question was if and when we would reach AGI. I believe we are now on a clear technological path. And a bit further on from that, he says there's a 50% chance we'll see AGI by 2028. So I mean, here, he actually isn't saying we have achieved AGI right now, but he says we are getting very, very close, and we are on the path down to, you know, getting there within the next couple years or so. So there you have it. NVIDIA CEO, OpenAI CEO, the man who coined the term initially, and the man who popularized the term back in 2002, they're all saying to, or at least pointing towards the fact that AGI is here, or rather we are very close to AGI. I mean, if you ask me for my opinion as to whether we have reached AGI or not, personally, man, I don't think so. I don't think we have a system yet that can just go out into the world, you know, and complete tasks to the same level a human can without, you know, having to have interactions or prompts or directions from, you know, the user. Yeah, I mean, we're very close. I feel like people can probably use systems in a way that they can do certain things to get to that point with AGI, but, you know, as an overall, you know, point or step in the, you know, technological race, I don't feel like we're there yet, but could be very close. But again, that's just my personal opinion and my, I guess, own definition of what I say AGI is. And again, that would be different for each person. But no, let me know your thoughts in the comments, whether you think we've achieved AGI or not. Because yeah, it is a very interesting topic, and it's very present in the media currently. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens in the coming months, in coming years, with this technology, especially with OpenAI about to release this, you know, big fancy new model. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video and got something out of it, leave a like down below. And if you want to keep seeing content like this, make sure to subscribe, because I have plenty of more videos coming out about AI in the AI space, and also how to implement AI into your everyday life or your business life as well. Once again, if you are a business owner wanting to get in touch, make sure to comment down below or DM me in Instagram, which will be linked in the description. Anyways, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.